guys and girls, my name's Dan, welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith, we're going to make this little Acorn keyring, this oak leaf coat hook, as samples to give to a customer for a gate. We're also going to talk about whether or not you should or shouldn't take that big job that's just fallen on your lap, and the temptations that come with seeing figures before really working out what it is that you're getting yourself into. I think one of the hardest aspects of running a business is saying no. It's very tempting, especially when you're just starting out and very small, to say yes to every single job. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do say yes to every single job and they do achieve every single job. But I don't think it's necessarily the best behaviour. If you start welding up buckets, you get a reputation for welding up digger buckets, and you're not a blacksmith anymore, you're a welder fabricator welding up digger buckets. And I think it's important to kind of try and remember that when you're developing yourself, your practice and who you are. So what I'd like to talk about is the factors that go into deciding whether or not you should or shouldn't take a job. I'm also doing a couple of these little samples here, these little oak leaf samples, because I'll explain in a minute, but I think these might come in handy when trying to persuade my customer to buy a product that doesn't look like a cheap Chinese gate that just fell off the back of a lorry somewhere. I'm not interested in doing that sort of work, and that work in itself has a cost that comes with it. Making good quality work has a cost. Astute among you may have noticed that I have just changed material, and there is a reason for this. I want to put the butchers in for some of the forging that I want to do on both this one and the Acorn, and I knew I needed to use the set of fullers to do this next set down. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting the set down in now. I'm putting these fullers in now using the round dies before I have to take them out and change them. So that's basically what I'm doing. If that answers your question to the change of material. The customer has given me a budget. They've also given me an idea of what they might like it to look like. And I think one of the problems with what people think they want and what they actually want are the fact that you just copy stuff that they've seen before, and persuading someone to take something on a little bit nicer sometimes is an art form in itself. But I definitely recommend that if you can persuade your customers to take your very best work every time, that is the best way to go forwards. Now, it's a small side gate that I've been offered. It has a budget of £500. The gate needs making, it needs fitting, and it does need, I'm not sure what we're doing about finishing just yet, but that's a complication in its own. So, for £500, we have to design a gate, make a gate, finish the gate, fit the gate. £500 doesn't go a long way when you're making a full-size pedestrian access down the side of a building. The gate stands at about 5.5 foot, 6 foot high, and it's about 2.5 foot wide, or 1.5 metres by about 800 mil. So basically, I saw the customer, they said this is what they want. A couple of people have already turned them down or just ignored them. They basically sent emails and not got back to them. I went and met the customer, saw what they had, spoke to them about the job. They got to stop a cat from getting through this gate as well, so there's some added complications there also. Anyway, long and short of it is, I was going to say no to the job, but then I thought, well, making a gate as a series could be a really nice series for you guys to see. This is part one of that series. Being able to show you that you can achieve a lot of work in a short space of time if you put your mind to it, and you have the skill set. It doesn't come overnight, obviously, but if you put your mind to it, you get the work done. It's pretty satisfying to be able to make a gate for such a small amount of money. Now, a welder fabricator could definitely do this job for 500 quid. They definitely could install it. but it would just be a bog standard gate, run of the mill sort of thing, and it's not the work that I would normally take on. It's not the money I would normally take for the kind of work that I'm going to offer them, but like I said, it's an opportunity to make a nice series. So what have we got to do to make this gate? Well, the first thing that we need to be able to do is work out how much it's going to cost us to make this gate. I have an hourly rate, I have a day rate here in the workshop, but I'm going to have to modify that slightly to justify how much I am going to get pay myself. I normally try and aim somewhere around £200 a day to run this workshop and do all the things that I'm doing, but I'm going to have to modify that to 160 to make this work slightly. I also have to take into account materials, and also I'm going to have to take into account finishes and fitting. So let's talk about materials. So the materials for this job are going to cost somewhere between £50 to £100, which is just over a fifth of the total cost. But that isn't the only cost that comes down to materials in this job. I've also recommended that they should have it galvanised. Now I think I've arranged with the customer to have galvanising added as a separate cost on top. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but I have already said I'm not galvanising it. You are going to have to pay for that extra. That's something extra. I also recommended powder coating. They've already got a black gate there that's powder coated, but that again an additional cost. Now, if we're talking somewhere between £50 and £100 for material, we're talking somewhere between 75 to £100 for galvanising, and then we're talking about £100, somewhere between 75 and £100 for powder coating. If we go to the extreme of all three of those for easy math, 50 quid for the materials, £100 for galv, £100 for powder coating, we're already at £250. That's half of our budget gone. So now we need to make a gate for 250 quid. So I'm not massively keen on about what I'm about to do, but I'm just going to grind this down to this little step that I've put in. So this is going to become the back of the Acorn, the bit that the Acorn sockets into. I'm just going to grind this bit down, and then I'll also show you what I've done here with the leaf. just put some little notches in there. I'm going to tidy this up now and get it all looking nice and tidy, and hopefully it's going to start looking like an oak leaf by the time I'm finished. But I've got to fit it. So let's say that my rate for fitting is £100, which it is. But I think the fitting for this job isn't going to be so much of a problem. It's already got a metal post fixed in. But if I had to dig the post out, or if there's any concrete work to do, again, there's an extra cost for that. A second concrete gets involved. I know it's going to take all day. It's going to take most of the day at least anyway, especially if I've got to dig something out, if I've got to dig a hole in the first place, if I hit concrete I've got to hire a jackhammer. So, sorry, let's just call it £100 for this job as well. So now we're on £350 of our £500 budget. That leaves us £150 left to make it. That's not even our day rate. So we've got less than our day rate to make the gate. Now if you were a welder fabricator and we were just going to order all the stuff in, weld it all together, we probably could do that. This is probably something that we could do. We could probably, like I said, make the gate for £500 and fit it and have it powder coated and have it. It might not be quite around those figures. It might be a bit lower than that, but I'm pretty sure we could do that. But that's not what I'm interested in doing. I don't want that sort of work. What I want to do is nice forge work. I want to have these really nice oak leaves in there. I want to have these really nice these acorns in here. I want to make something really attractive. So my plan is to make and design something that the customer's going to go, wow, that's really beautiful, and then convince them that they need to pay for materials on top. After I've convinced them to pay for materials on top, talk to them about the galvanizing process. There are a couple of galvanizing processes that can be used. There's a cold gal version, which is basically spray tins. A spray tin of cold galv costs anywhere between 10 and £15. So once you add that up, if you need 4 or 5 cans to cover one whole gate, you're pretty much getting close to your minimum order almost, or halfway at least, for your minimum order for your galvanizing anyway. So is it that much of a cost saving? And then he said he was going to hand paint the gate anyway, which is fair enough. The way I'm going to try and work this, and the way I'm going to try and make this job viable so I can also make a YouTube video out of it to give to you guys, and also I can make a little bit of ad revenue off of it if it's a good series of videos, is to give a quote for building the gate in 3 days, use materials sparingly and wisely, but also I'm going to try and ask the customer to pay for materials. I'm also going to tell the customer they need to pay for galvanizing, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that we are going to be able to get the gate to hang off of the existing post that's already there. If it is, it's going to be a 5-minute job. It's going to be really nice and easy to fit. I say that now, it's probably going to be a real pain in the bum, but to cover my back, I'm going to put in the invoice that if the gate isn't as simple as I think it is to hang, and there are any problems, i.e. we need to remove the post, we need to put a new post in, we need to make special latches or whatever, then the customer is going to have to pay extra. And my plan is to make some really nice samples to send to these people so that they go, oh wow, they're really nice, and then hopefully persuade them to take the job, part with a little bit of extra money, but have something super amazing outside their house that they can love and cherish, and stops the cat from getting out on the road. I don't know how they're stopping this cat, but because my cat could get out of anywhere. But something they can love and cherish, that they can use as access to their house, that does the job it's supposed to do, but also looks super amazing for a relatively reasonable price. So here are the oak leaf that I've made, and I mean I've made about 5 or 6 of these now, and what I'm going to potentially do is turn these into some sort of die that I can stick under the power hammer and smash them out a bit quicker. But I like them. They look like oak leaves. Well, they sort of look like oak leaves. I'd love to know what you guys think. So obviously in the comments, let me know what you think of the. Let me know what you think to these bad boys. See, I put the marks in there, and that's it. Put me off a little bit, but see, they're not supposed to look 100% like an oak leaf, but they are supposed to represent it sort of. I don't know. I don't know. I think they look like oak leaves anyway. And this is the little acorn jobby that I made. I think that looks quite cool. I think it looks like a little acorn at least anyway. I mean, this was the first one I tried the other day. I think they look quite acorny, don't you? Again, let me know what you think in the comments. That's everything. That's what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to let you know that normally this is a no-no for me. I would genuinely 100% advise walking away from this job and not taking it. If you fall into a pit hole by the end of it, where you've got 20 quid in your pocket, you've got less than or even if you've got a food shop for the week out of it, that's not enough. It's not enough to survive on. You've not paid the rent for your building. You've not put the fuel in your truck. You've not even covered the hours that you've put into the work. And I really want to express to you guys, especially you guys who are starting out trying to build a business, be careful. It's really hard going, especially if you see a job and you grab it, take it, run with it, and you get halfway through, and then it starts owing you money, and then that's a problem. Cool. Right, well that's everything, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed making these little oak leaves. They turned out lovely. I think I've got some people in mind that are going to get these beautiful items. Hopefully the next little project I'm going to do with some oak leaves is to try and get them welded together, but it's probably not going to happen until the gate actually gets made, but we'll see what happens. I might not even get the gate job, but I think that's everything. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, remember to ring that bell for notifications, because it will tell you every time I make a video. I make videos, well, whenever I get a chance to make one, basically, so they come out. I was trying to do them a bit more regular, but whatever happens, happens, right? Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I'll leave a link up here to a video where I make some money, show you how to make some money out of some small items. I'll leave another link down here to another video where we make some other items. This is my Patreon, great way to support the channel, and this is the subscribe button, guys. Here's hoping we get that job.